Alright guys, if you're tuning in, we are going to continue our campaign mission walkthrough through Innistrad with our red-green deck. Um, this series might be, a little aimed towards the beginner. Um, so, if you're not a complete beginner, you might not enjoy it too much. Let's see here. We've got a 4-1 and the equipment that I was talking about. So let's try and make that happen. I'm not sure. Let's see. At the beginning of a changer's upkeep, that player puts top 2 cards of his or her library in his or her graveyard. Alright, so the guy's trying to deck me. That's his goal for the game. Turn 2, I'm going to play Cobble Wings. Turn 3, I'm going to play the Fire Cat and see if I can swing with flying maybe 5 times and kill him. That would be pretty sweet. If you don't know how equipment works, equipment you put it on the playing field, and then once you play a creature, you can pay the equip cost, equip 1, and that creature is enchanted technically with that whatever ability that is there. So next turn, if I succeed here, I will have a 4/1 flyer hitting this guy in the face. I've also got a giant growth, so that might cut away a turn for me. Still got the symbols down at the bottom left here. Game there, 6, 4, 45. The 6 is the amount of cards in my graveyard. The 4 is the amount of cards in my hand. And the 43, well, the number's changing. The 8 cards in my graveyard, 5 cards in my hand, 42 cards in my deck left. So we're gonna go ahead. Since he's open, I don't want to equip this because there's no point in it. So I'm just gonna hit him. I didn't get to read this. It just deals damage to me, no big deal. But I want to play this. If you don't know about mana cost right now, this costs 2 red and 2 of any color. So since I have 2 mountains out and 2 forests, that works for that. So I'm gonna try and get both these creatures out, and then that way next turn I'm gonna have some more threats out. If I had equipped this, I would only have 3 lands left, and then I would have been able to play maybe the shock in this, but I would only add 1 creature. This way I'm not relying on 1 creature, and I'm creating a board presence, to put more threats on him. He's got me down to 40 cards, 39. If you do get completely decked means that your all your cards from your library get put into your graveyard. These are all the cards that have been put in my graveyard so far. If you do get decked, you die in Magic. Okay, Crippling Chill. It's going to tap it, and it's going to make it to where I can't untap it next turn. Now, since I don't have anything else I really want to do this turn, I'm going to go ahead and equip this guy, because he'll be able to attack next turn. And I believe he stays tapped. Let's see, this said, doesn't untap during the controller's next untap step. So yeah, this guy won't be able to attack next turn, and this guy will. Again, don't use your giant growths and things like that, or I'm sorry, titanic growths too early, because it's really important to have protection for your creatures. If at any time, let's say he has a shock in hand like I do, that would deal 2 damage to target creature or player, I could, like if he designates the 2 damage to the creature, I can play this and make that creature bigger, and then that creature, will hit harder. Now, right here, I'm going to go ahead and play this because it's going to get me up to 8, so it's 8 damage, and then he'll be at 4, So I'm going to deal 2 more damage with the shock. 2 players. And I'm not going to choose myself. That's where that simplified targeting is. Simplified targeting would have automatically chosen him. I can choose myself here. You know, this is not an instance where that matters, but it will come up in gameplay. And you do have to be careful, because if I shocked myself right now, I wouldn't kill him. But I'm going to shock the cursed existence, and he's going to die there. We're going to open our Innistrad booster. Hopefully we get something good. Okay, let's go through here. This thing is a defender. I want to be aggressive. I want to kill my opponent. I'm already running enough of these. This guy's kind of aggressive. It might fit into my deck. I can't really remember what else we have in there as far as a 2-spot. We're not playing white. We're not playing black, and we're... This guy's pretty good, but he's a little late. He's a 4-2 on turn 6. He's good in what's called limited. Limited is when you don't have technically a fully established deck. There's not anything I'm dying to put in my deck here, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue on so we can get some more gameplay in, and then you know, later when we have some more options, we'll start forming a deck here. Alright, this is great. We have a turn 2, a turn 3, turn 5, and maybe a turn 6 if we can convoke that. We might even be able to get this out on turn 5. So this isn't too bad. We're going to go ahead and keep this. Now, not that this is an optimal hand, you know, would have some of our favorite cards, would have another beast, so we could use the Advocate of the Beast plus the you know, plus a beast to make it bigger. We have a devil, a worm, a human scout. What do we got here? Alright. 2-1. Now, I've played Magic 2015 for a while, and you'll kind of see there's something... I can play this card right now. It's kind of like... Check this out. If I played this card right now, I could put the counter on him and have a 2-2. And he's probably not going to swing with this because this has lifelink, and that is technically a little bit more valuable than a 2-2. On turn 3, I can play this. And then on turn 4, I could play this, making this guy a 3-4. That's kind of putting all your eggs in one basket. So it's kind of just a decision here. Do I want to put this out and assume that he's not going to swing with it and save myself 2 points of damage? And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and let's gamble a little bit. Because, you know, technically what you should do is put it down and establish a board presence. Board presence is what threatens people. Like right now, he's swinging at me, and that's threatening, you know, my life total. Once my life total is gone, that's that. What do we got here? A flyer, can't block, 2-1. That is an excellent card to play on turn 2. And there's not much that we have to deal with flyers in this deck. So we're going to play the Advocate of the Hunt Beast. Now, Advocate of the Hunt Beast, or I'm sorry, of the Beast is really good because it's a 2-3, and there are a lot of creatures in this this game's meta type. In the metagame, metagame is basically you know, how cards are established. I can't block because this guy is flying, but basically it's how the cards within you know, the cards that you have access to. Like, you know, I have access to a certain type of cards. It's how they play together. Now, I was going to play this on turn 4 and drop it, but that would give this guy a 1-1 and this guy would become a 3-4. But it's actually more powerful to drop this 5-3 and then put the counter on it from the Advocate of the Beast and make this a 6-4 at the end of my turn. And until I get that counter, like, I could attack here, but I don't think I want to. I want to make sure that I get that counter first. And then, because for instance, if he had that, you know, that 2-1 plus a shock or something there, he had red mana open, I'm assuming that his deck's good, then it would, then I would have lost that, and then, you know, I would have just had a 5-3. Anyway, your meta game basically is all the cards that you have access to. And a 2-3 is actually like really strong. If you've noticed, since this 2-3 has came out, he hasn't attacked with this once. It's because, you know, his butt end's big enough to deal some damage, or to absorb some damage. Now I have some options here. I can play the Krinko's command and this. I can put his counter on this guy. But since this is a 6-4, he's almost guaranteed to block with this 4-3. Now if I put the counter on him and I swing, he's almost guaranteed to dual block with these two creatures. So what I'm going to do, I think, is... okay, here's a little trick. We're going to play the Krinko's command for 2 mana, okay? And then we're going to use those two to play the Convoke. He has to attack every turn. I'm going to tap him so he doesn't have to tap, or so he doesn't have to attack this turn. Okay, and then I'll tap him, and then I'll confirm it. Now at the end of the turn, I'll end up getting a counter on that guy, and maybe his power and toughness will become out of reach to where I won't be scared of that to attack into that 4-3. Now that flower is doing all the damage, man. That thing is just not good for me. What do we got here? If an opponent lost life this turn, you put a 1/1 on target creature. That's pretty good. Alright, let's see here. Play this. Now, in total, if he were to dual block the 7/5 here, he would be able to do 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's actually very important that I attack in this turn. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the 1/1 counter on this guy because he has trample, and it'll give me another threat. And then I'm just going to go ahead and swing across, I think. Now I'm only going to swing with these two because I want to have blockers, because if I were to swing and him take the damage since he's at 22, he could take, you know, all the damage. He could have taken all the damage and then swung back at me with his creatures and then put me in a world of hurt, really. Put another beast into play, so Advocate of the Beast could put a 1/1 on him. And now I have a much stronger board presence than my opponent. You can see that board presence is actually very huge in Magic, especially in this type of format. Alright, this guy's a 1/1. If he sacks another creature, it gets a +1/+1 counter. I don't know why he would have done that just now. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now I'm going to swing across... I'm definitely swinging with this, and I might swing with this guy, and this guy. The reason I'm not swinging with these two guys is because I want them to get a little bigger. And if I were to swing in with one of these, he might just block one of these two. You know what? I can go for a full swing here. Yeah, I can go for a full swing. Because even if he does, I mean, I'm getting a ton of damage here. But sometimes it's right not to block in. Or not to swing in fully. Sometimes that's just the right choice. Especially when I'm in 8 life, you know, it's kind of scary. Like right now, if he were to remove this creature from the board, then I might have had a much harder decision. Putting all the damage on that trampler. Now I'm going to swing for everything because it's live or die for this guy. And that's it. Wraps it up. Okay, that's video number 2 of our you know, campaign Magic 2015 walkthrough series. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. I'm not going to end it until we open this booster and we see what kind of good stuff we got. Let's see here. I am going to add both of these to the deck. Let's not end it until we do that. Now, let's go up here and use our filter and choose red and green. And let's see. I definitely want this guy. What this guy does is, at the beginning of my upkeep, if there's an instant or sorcery in my graveyard, it returns one randomly. So if there are 2 or 3, it's going to return one randomly to my hand. When it does that, I get it back to my hand, and I can play it, and then this thing gets +4/+0. That's an 8/4 for 6 mana. That's going to bring me an instant or sorcery back every single turn. So in my 6 mana slot, I believe that that's a little bit more powerful than this guy here for sure. The only reason that I would have this guy in is for continuation. You don't want to put a whole bunch of really expensive stuff in. Like, see where your speed and strength is there? I really want a whole lot of things around, you know, 1 or 2 casting cost. And if I'm, you know, if I'm waiting till turn 6 or 7 to do all the damage, then you know, I'm just late. There are certain things like, you know, if this were a trampler, for instance, this guy would be, you know, really good. I could use him. That's why the Pellicle Worm's staying in, because he's a trampler. In late game, he might actually be good. That's why this guy hasn't been cut yet. I cut one of them, but I've still got trample. Now this guy is a 5/3 trample for 5, and he's a beast, so he can potentially get bigger. Now another thing here. This guy can give a creature +X/+X, and what that means is let's say there are 5 creatures in play. I can tap 4 mana. Everything on the left side of the colon there is the cost that it takes to make the thing on the right side of the colon activate. So I can tap 3 and 1 green, and target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures I control. So if I have 5 creatures on the board, and Elder of Laurels counts as one of those creatures, then I can give any of those creatures +5/+5 at any time, and that's really good. You know, you have Titanic Growth, but this only happens once. That's why it's for 2 mana. This is for 4, and that seems a little bit expensive, but it stays out. I can do it every single turn, so that's a whole lot of card value there. Now we got to figure out what to cut. We're going to cut an Act of Treason. We're not going to cut these guys out yet because we need creatures, and we saw what the Lightning Talons did earlier. It gave it first my creature first strike. It got huge, and they couldn't deal with it. We're going to do the Act of Treason. All Act of Treason does is gain control of a creature for a turn and potentially deal damage to them. It's not very good. There are certain combinations and things that can make it good. But really what we want to do is just build a creature foundation and get good removal. That's what we want to do so far. Actually, let's go ahead and take out that other Act of Treason and put in the Prey Upon. I think that's what we'll do. There we go. Now our speed, strength, and control is a little higher, and that's good. So we're gaining stars down there. Yep. Now, as far as our mana, we need 15 and 20 over there. So it's sort of a ratio. So out of 24 lands, I'm running 24. Usually in your average deck, you want to run 40% lands. So you know, 24 out of 60 is close to close to 40%. That's your golden ratio. Anyway, so we need to check our lands over here. And if you notice, we actually have a few less mountains than we do forests. I'm actually going to shave off 1 forest and add 1 more mountain. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Alright guys, saving that. That ends this video. Keep tuned in, and we will keep playing through the campaign, and I hope you're learning something if you're beginning Magic players. If you're an advanced player, hey, you know, we might refine some skills together, unlock some cards, and then eventually we will be playing some, you know, duty Magic, and you know, I will I will up my game for you guys. Stay tuned, keep playing, and we'll see you soon.